Musings by Nikki. I'm here today with kind of something that I haven't really filmed before. And as I was getting ready to kind of close out this design team project that I had just done for Tracy, and I filmed my flip throughs, and then I was getting ready to clean off my desk and kind of get move on to the next project, pull out the bits and pieces and, kind of just reset my desk. Anyway, that's kind of what I try to do. My method is in between, once I finish out one project or one set of journals or something, I kind of try to go to, do a clean of my desk, get things reset, reorganized, and then pull out the new stuff that I'm going to use. But as I was doing that, I'm like, what, here's my crux. Here's my conundrum. I have, I used a vast majority of the bits and pieces that I had printed out of Tracy's kits. And so I just have these bits and pieces left. Now, these bits and pieces are very different than the bits and pieces I'm about to use or the ones that I used for my last journal. So my problem becomes, rather than just chucking, rather than just gathering this all up and chucking it in the scrap bin where it becomes part of a, well, if you've been with me for a while, you saw what happened with my scrap bin and story time before. So there's that. Or how do you organize all the little bits and pieces? I've done that before. And I do have some, I do have some organizational stuff that I do kind of with some small bits and pieces. So some of this could go in there, but essentially it's what do you do with this? And here's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm going to make an end of project with the goal of using up as much of this leftover stuff as I can into whatever this ends up looking like kind of project. Because there's enough little bits and pieces and a base of something that I feel like we could make something kind of fun. And who knows, it'll probably end up being something that's crazy and that doesn't look like anything I've made before, but maybe that's the point. So anyway, nope, there's my husband making all kinds of noise. So here I've got a couple of these windy guy closures. I have a bunch of these little pieces of ephemera, some tabs. I'm going to kind of just put, move them off my middle of my place so I have some workspace here. So I've got those. Actually, I'm going to put these up here. Then I have a bunch of these little 1-inch circle punches that these are the ones that came with the kits. So I've got those. Then, oops, that goes over here. I've got some pieces. These come with the kit, some offcut pieces, some little offcut pieces of the wallpaper grunge here. A couple of bigger offcut pieces of the wallpaper grunge here. So, 3 of these little, these I can reuse, and I do have a place where I put some of these, but we're going to see if we can use them up, or at least some of them. And then I've got some of these, label shape type things. Those, I could reuse those. Then I've got a couple of the journal card pieces left. I've got one unfolded seed packet left. And then I've got some of the tags. Oops, mostly this mid-size tag. That's what I have the most of here. So I've got those. I've got a few of these big ones and 2 little ones. Then I've got a bunch of pieces, offcut scrappy pieces from making the books, coffee stain stuff. And I've got one more of these trifold things, but I had already sewn a scrappy signature into this one. So I feel and then this was another base. If you watched my flip through my design team project, this was kind of one of the bases of that ephemera holder thing that I made. So I feel like the combination of these two can be kind of maybe our starting point. So I'm going to take a drink of coffee because, crafter fuel. And let's set these over here. Oh, and then I've got, you know, some of these little layered up flowers that I made too over there. So let's look at this while we're dreaming about this, what we're going to do with this thing. Let's ink it up, because surely we're not doing a grungy project without doing some inking around the edges of this. So let's ink that up, and then the inside as well. Pardon me, my kind of an itchy nose today. Yesterday was a long day. Where we live is 5 hours from the Twin Cities in Minnesota, where I used to live. And my dad had a doctor's appointment in Minneapolis at the U. And so he used to come down, spend the night at our house, and then drive home, you know, go to the doctor's appointment the next day, and then drive home. So it gave him, you know, a break in the long day. Well, now he can't stay with us down there because we no longer live down there, obviously. So then we have to do a one day turnaround trip where we drive down and come back in the same day. So that's like a 10 hours of driving in addition to the appointment time. And then we always try to, you know, if you're down there, you try to hit a few stores that we don't have up here. And because that's so much driving, I went with him yesterday to, you know, be a second driver and to kind of just keep him awake. And plus, I dig my dad. Had a nice conversation. To be continued. Let's figure out how to combine these. So what I'm kind of thinking is we're just going to make another like foldy, flappy pockety tag holdery thingamajig notebook thing, flippy flappy thing. Do you think all of that will fit in my YouTube channel or the YouTube video title for this? All that thing that I just said? Probably not. Okay, yeah. So maybe we'll just, maybe, you know what? And I'm also going to just try to not overthink this, because that's, maybe I'll scoot this all the way down here and make like this can be a tuck spot. And we can maybe put a pocket on here. We could put one of these. I bet one of these will fit on there. Yep. And then that can be a tuck spot behind it for one of those larger pieces maybe, or one of the big tags. And then we can do some stuff over here. Oh, and then I've got, you know, this I already kind of folded into a waterfall notes thing. This is a stack of similar size offcuts, so I feel like that can be a notebook, you know, on something as well. And then some of these as well. Like this is a stack of similar sized ones. So, and these two. So we could use some of those to make kind of notebooks. So like maybe this will be a mini little notebook type of thing. I kind of like the ideas of things like this where you can have lots of little bits and pieces of things and tags and stuff to write gratitude on or quotes. So it kind of keeps your attention and keeps things fresh as you're doing that. So I'm gonna glue along there and there. So we just get these first two things attached. And there's this spine here. So I'm gonna make sure I glue not on the spine part, but along the edge of it. I just had a moment of panic as I was running this bead of glue along here that I was like gluing the wrong thing, but I think I'm gluing the right thing, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now again, line this up as best I can. And then along there. And let's go like this. So yeah. Yep. There. That works. I got just the edge, but I don't have the spine part so that this notebook and stuff can still kind of move freely as we fold and unfold and whatnot. There. Okay. So yeah, and then we can do some decorating on these other surfaces as well. Okay, so we've got a big tuck spot. And I like the idea of one of these going there. So I'm going to just go ahead and glue that down. I'm going to use this one because the other ones are blue and they'll kind of blend in a little more. And I don't want that. Or at least on this project I don't. Sometimes you want things to blend in. But not right now. Okay, so tuck spot, and we've got pockets to stick things there. Then let's think about, what do we have? We have these big pieces left still too, and we could, you know what, we could hinge some more of these into this. These are, oh, they're exactly the same, so I must have had them, I don't even remember what I cut these off of, guys. I wonder if we, are they both the same? Yep. So I wonder if we attach them together. Why is that not? Yeah, so if we attach them together, and could we make that like a pocket for a tag? Oh, we could make a big thing that could go down in there. But like a top loading, oh, or a side loading. That'd probably be easier because then it doesn't have to be that long. And then we could hinge it onto this so it's more, I suppose I should see if that's wide enough. Anyway, because you guys would get what I'm laying down here. I'm just trying to use stuff up. I think we'll make it, but in order to do that, oh, I'm going to put a thumb notch on one side of it though. We'll do it with the big guy here. Should I do it in the middle or towards the top? I like towards the top. Just for the heck of it, because then we can maybe put like a pocket down on the bottom part of it. And we'll distress it. So while we distress, I'll tell you about our drive. So our drive yesterday. so I like I said, I was driving to the cities with my dad. And when we left here, it was nice out. Not nice, but I mean, it wasn't snowing or anything. So per Minnesota driving on the road standards, it was nice. The roads were dry, fairly dry, and not slippery or anything. Then as we got towards the cities, we left at 5 a.m. So the sun didn't even rise until like 7 something. So we drove in the dark for a while. And then as we got towards the cities, it was kind of blustery and a little windy. And it started getting a little slippery. And, okay, yeah. Did I hit all the edges I needed to? Yes. All right, I'm trying to decide if I want to like sew around this or should I just stick to glue? I'm just going to stick to glue. We're just going to glue everything. So let me think. Yep, I'm just going to glue. I'm going to glue around those edges. Right here. So it started getting a little slick. And, you know, when you live up north, you're pretty used to slick roads. If you live in Minnesota, you're pretty used to slick roads, period. We get them a lot for about half the year. There we go. Ooh, trying to just line them up just perfect. There we go. This is kind of fun, guys. I should do this more often. Use up the scraps to make something. It's like a challenge. It's like a challenge. Ooh, maybe we should make this a challenge. Everybody else has challenges on their channels. Should I make this my channel? The use up your extras after your kit challenge. Does that sound like an actual challenge name? Okay, do I want to make a fabric hinge here? Let's see what muslin I got right over here. Do this because I don't know if any of these, well, those are the same height. Do I want to do a paper hinge? Nah, we're going to just go with a fabric hinge. I like fabric hinge. Okay. So maybe I won't make it an official challenge, but you guys will have to let me know if you do this. Whoops. If you attempt to use up like the extras of your kit after you're done with it. Or also, and kind of like conversely, if you somehow manage to every single time you use a kit, you use all of the bits and pieces of it. This just wants to roll over there. And I don't want it to. If you somehow manage to, you know what? I gotta go grab hold on guys. I gotta grab a fresh Fabri-Tac way over here. I just threw out my other one. And actually, this isn't Fabri-Tac. This is 3-in-1, but you know, if you've heard one person say it, you've heard 1,000 people say it. I think they're the same exact thing. And if you don't know this trick, you're about to know. Let me grab a pokey thing. Instead of ripping off the whole tab, because you know how we all get like gloobers? With this stuff, you end up with those like blobs of glue that come out. So this is some sort of science-y, I don't know how it works thing, but it does work. And that was really just a very crude way of doing this. An awl or a stick of some sort would work way better. But if you just put a little hole there instead of ripping that whole thing off, for some reason, it makes it so you don't get as many of those big glue blobs. Now watch me just have said that, and this is going to be like, oh, just kidding, and I'll stand it up and it'll glue blob. See? Ha-ha! All right, we are just putting on 1/2 at a time because, yeah, I can't. There's no way I can be that person that can put both sides on at the same time. Okay, so there's that side, and we'll do this side. So if you're somehow one of those people that uses, if you have no problem using up all of the, maybe it's because, you know what, part of my problem ending up with like extra bits and pieces and stuff is that a lot of times I print out like extra pages of the kit, or, you know, print out some pages or some pieces of ephemera like multiple times because I use them for different applications kind of in different ways. And when you do that, oh, now it's getting on my hands and it's going to ruin my fresh nail polish. Crafter problems. All right, that's fairly equally spaced. I'm going to pull, whoops. Oh, my flippy flappies are getting out of control. I'm going to pull this over just a hair. There, okay. So now that can flip in. Now we got extra flippy flappies, but I don't like that extra bit at the top, so I'm going to cut that off. So I think that's part of why I end up with extra pieces, is because I print things off. Extra pieces of things. But I also don't really, one of my things this year, and I don't make New Year's resolutions really, but one of the things that I'm going to try to do this year is not have a huge scrap drawer, not accumulate a huge scrap drawer. Okay, so I have a bunch of these medium tags, and I feel like we need to find a creative use for them other than just, you know, like we'll put one in here, but I don't want to round the corners because they go in and out of those pockets better if they have rounded corners. So I want to use some of these up. I'm going to find other creative ways to use these tag bases. Again, these tag bases wouldn't be awful to have because they're, I mean, this is a pretty, you could use this with a lot of different kits. This grungy wallpaper thing is a kit that you could use with a lot of different kits. You know, as a supplemental ephemera making deal. But I want to see, we'll have to make something to go in there. I've got that one big piece left over there. Oh, you know what? I also had this idea, but I think these might be too small. We might do them with the bigger ones to make little envelopes out of them. I wonder if we could do some sort of, oh, I wonder if we could do some sort of like waterfall. Well, I'd have to go this way first. Because these patterns don't necessarily have to go, hey, that's kind of fun. They don't have to go in one direction necessarily, right? Most florals, like repeating floral patterns like this are kind of, could go either way. And we could just put a little bend on the ends and then you could fold them up and write. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, so let's, should I do like a scoreboard or should we just go for it? You know what? This is the just go for it project. So what I'm going to do is fold up, unless this first one is disaster, and then I'll get my we're going to get the scoreboard. Otherwise that's going to be an ugly mess. And none of them are going to like waterfall and fold up nicely. Okay. So I'm going to do, what am I going to do? Like a little, this way, they'll all be the same. Way better. So as we're driving to the cities and it's starting to get slippery, my mom she's the executive director of our HUD program here in Northam up in our county. And so she had a board meeting, and because of COVID and all the things they have to do, you know, she has some of the people come, some of the people decide that they'll come to the board meeting in person, and then some of them have to do a Zoom call. And so they have, you know, the board members all get a little tablet and they can do a Zoom call. But if you've ever tried to set up a Zoom, especially if you're not just, you know, using the cameras right on your computer and everything, it can be like a technical nightmare. You know, you have to get everything to work right. So she was just saying, you know, wanting to check, because my dad set her up a new, okay, there we go. Now they won't, now they'll all be even. I'm glad I spent the time to do that. Good decision. Okay, just put that back down there. So she wanted to do kind of a test to just make sure that her stuff was all running right. So as my dad was driving, I was like on a Zoom call with her and, you know, getting the sound sorted and everything. Like as we're driving through the tunnel, right in downtown Minneapolis, there are some tunnels, and driving through the tunnel, and a car, like a really nice Audi, really nice, brand new looking Audi, just completely spun out and crashed into the wall of the tunnel. And all of a sudden we went, okay, maybe time to slow down. But the weirdest thing was, because I was on Zoom with my mom, I got to like show her out the window. I was like, Bob, did you just see that? Because I had my phone camera like turned around, so it was filming out the window where we were driving. And she said, yes, I just saw that. I was like, wow, that was a little nutty. Especially that it happened like right at the moment that I was Zooming with my mom in the tunnel in Minneapolis. So we did not get in any accidents. We were very blessed to have safe, non-eventful travel. And just lots of nice time to chat. It's nice to have time to do that with my dad. Oh, look at that. I just kind of by accident, these all have like a little border on the end and this top one doesn't. That works. This is cute. I might have to add this kind of idea into a future journal. This might just end up being some kind of fun inspiration for future projects too. Okay. And last but not least, this pretty floral one. I also like how it adds more of the wallpaper texture right into the middle panel of this too. Okay. All right. So there's that. Cute. I love it. So now these all fold up and you could write on the backs of them, and we could still put a pocket or something down here if we so desire, if we still have stuff and junk to put there. How skinny are these? Oh, just too wide. I was gonna say, could we add another little notebook there, but nah, that's too wide. We'll have to figure something. Oh, I've got these though. Or this. If nothing else, we just end up with like a design element here, right? But that uses that up. But I'm not going to stick it down because, you know, maybe we come up with something else. I'm just going to lay it there for now. I do have some like book page too that we could kind of tear and put behind there just for the moment, or for, you know, to, okay. So I've got some scraps of this that we could make a pocket out of here. And I also have the seed envelope we could put there. Let's maybe do that. Let's move this guy over here. I'm gonna grab my whoopsie doodles. I'm gonna grab my scoreboard again. Just because these, I always jack these up if I try doing it without scoring it first. My scoreboard is a positive part of my life. Otherwise, I just do whacked out folding. These kinds of things, pockets and things that I cut out of kits, and especially Tracy's, because they have these nice, like, she does inking already on them, on the digitals. It's for you, so your edges are already kind of digitally inked. But then, so there's a nice line to know where to fold on too. But, you know, you'd think that would help me to fold, but no. And then if you don't fold right on it, then it looks extra weird. And I never fold right on it unless I score it first. There. Again, another moment's worth of work for long-term benefit. Okay. Oh, well, the only reason I'm going to fold that over is so I can ink here but I think I'm going to glue it down like this. And I'm going to have to trim, because even though I use the scoreboard, I'm still off a little bit here. Not that this matters so much, because you're not going to see that on the, because that's going to be glued down. Okay. Yes. We'll glue this guy shut. There we go. And let's bring our big piece back in. And I think we'll glue it down there. But I think I'm going to leave this side open to make it like a side loading pocket. Depending on how this turns out, this kind of thing could also be a something that you could like affix to the front of a journal, like the front cover. I kind of think it's cool. And I don't know that I've ever really done it, but I've always think it's so cool when I see other people do it, where they have something like this, like on the front cover before you even open your journal, you've got like cool stuff going on. I don't know why I've never done it, but I always admire when I see you all do it. Okay. So I do need to like leave myself some pieces of stuff. I suppose I could cut down tags too to make, well, this will hold. That took out most of my tags. Okay, so that can go in there though. That's good. That's got a tag, and then I've got this space for a side loader tag here. That could work. Is this one going to be too tall? Nope, that works. Let's do that one. Let's around the corners. And then we'll put one of those tabs on it so it doesn't get lost in there. So there we go. And I've got 2 sizes of tabs. Let's do the bigger one. I like the bigger one on it. So we'll put that on there. And then this way it won't get lost into the pocket, because I don't think the pocket is deeper than this card is. And if it gets stuck in there, then you would never ever even know that this is even in there. There we go. So that can go in the side pocket, and that goes in the top there. And we've got those, we've got this. We could slide like a big tag behind here. So we can do that. And we need something to go in there. And then we could put something there. And we still have this guy to decorate. Okay, yeah, because of all that, I'm going to say we don't need to try and smash anything else in here. So let's see. Should we throw some book page down there behind it, just as kind of like a collage-y thing? Oh, it's just long enough. That's like everything is working out real well. They're all just the right length for everything, except that's a little too wide up there. Oh, look at, I tore out the human heart just perfectly. Except it'll be covered up. And then that would be sad. So we'll just put it on the, this side has more text anyway. We'll just run a little bit of ink, 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 ink. I was filming my giveaway drawing video earlier today, and in it, this huge gust of wind came up and like blew a bunch of hunks of like kind of semi-frozen snow off of the, there's some big pine trees right next to our deck, which is kind of right next to my window. Not my big window, but I have a small window over on the other wall. And it blew them off, and it blew them right into the window. And I don't know, I haven't edited that video yet, but I don't know if you can hear it, but it scared me a little. It startled me. Oops. Okay. And it has remained crazy windy out there today. And I mean, it is crazy windy. So I was telling the girls, you know, we've had actually a pretty mild winter here so far. And we haven't had a ton of snow. So both of those things, odd for Minnesota. But, you know, I'll take it. I'm going to kind of off-center it just slightly. There. Oops, I forgot to ink that, and I can see a white edge on it, but oh well. I can live. And it's just a bit long. There. I'll link that at least. At least I'll get that edge. So it's, like I said, it's been really mild here. There, I like how that looks. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave that there for now as kind of a placeholder. Oop. Big truck trying to slow down fast enough. Maybe do, oh, this is actually a, so say maybe what we can do in that pocket there is some sort of, since it's so tall, some sort of notepad thing. Let's see if I can just kind of eyeball it, cut it down. We'll go there. Not bad. Okay, and since this is like the since I'm using up a bunch of scraps, and you know, in an effort to not put things, yeah, I thought I was going to cut it down that way too. In an effort to not put a bunch of stuff into my scrap bin, I'm giving myself permission. Pieces like that can go in the garbage. Now, normally when I'm making my journal, those things would stay on the desk or go into scraps. But because I'm using so much scrap right now, like I said, giving myself permission. Okay, I'm going to just round those edges and give her a quick grunge up. This is some pink paper that I got in Happy Mail. I think this is avocado dye, which you've probably heard me say this, but it still makes me think, how in the world, you know, avocados in my head are black and green. How do they make pink? I don't know. All I gotta say is God is an artist. It's so windy. The trees are just going crazy out there. So I was saying, we were having a pretty mild winter, and we haven't had much cold or snow. And then, you know, then it finally kind of started getting a little chilly these last few, well, and by chilly, I mean, you know, down into the single digits and negative temperatures. That's what most of us Minnesotans consider as chilly. Okay, we need a tab. Well, I was gonna say we should put a tab on there, but then I realized, wait, it's got to fold in. So this has got to fit all the way in. Does it still close? Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's in there. Then let's put something here. We still have a couple of these. Oh, I kind of like how that looks. 2 of those. Now, I don't know that I have enough stuff to fill these. I like that one. But should I put some sort of, should I try to echo this tuck spot with this tuck spot like this? Maybe, yeah. Maybe, yeah. Let's do that. But ink. So it's finally started getting chilly here, and you know, negatives. And then today, all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, we must have some sort of system blowing through, because now today, all of a sudden, yesterday's high was like 4 or something, and now today, the high is going to be 37. It just kept creeping up. So we've got something blowing through, which usually means that behind it is something nasty from Canada or, you know, out west, and it's going to be super cold. So you just try to enjoy this while you can, the warm days, you know, when they pop up in the middle of January and February, the real cold months, and a warm day pops up, all of a sudden you see everybody out, you know, walking in their sweatshirts without jackets on and stuff. Well, not so much today, because even though it's 37, the wind chill is probably like 14 or -3. It's so windy. We had all these pretty, yeah, how's that look? That looks good. I said, how does that look? And then I just answered my question. It's going to need something to hold it shut, though, because once I bulk these things up, it's going to be bulky. It's going to be chunky. So we had all this pretty snow on trees, you know, it looks so gorgeous. Well, that's all gone. The wind done blown that all off. There's no pretty snowy trees left. They're back to being bare and brown. And you know what? Maybe I don't have to fill up all the pockets, because maybe wherever this ends up going, you know, it leaves it to them to fill up some of this stuff. Because after all, I'm not trying to break out new stuff to fill this with. I'm trying to use up this stuff. Okay. But I do have enough of these medium-sized tags that I'll put one in here. Okay, and I'm not going to worry about putting sari silks or anything on these, because then that's going to make it, let's see, yellow maybe? Does that stand out enough? There. Okay. I like it. I like it. I like it. Moving on. So I kind of like I really like this floral here. So I think I'm just going to leave that way. But we definitely could put something here. That needed to be refolded. So let's see these. Whoops. We could use one of those as a pocket, and I bet one of these, or I wonder what if one of the big tags might even fit in there. Ew, if I'm really good with the glue, maybe. Gonna have to be extra precise. You know, what did I do before the days of art glitter glue and its super precision tip here? I used to use score tape a lot more, but this goes way faster. There's still a time and place for score tape. This is just faster. And I think it bonds the paper to the paper and holds a lot better in like long term. Oh, my fingers are getting all gluey. But I'm trying to keep it under an hour and get all this done. That's goals. Hashtag goals. Just pick one, Nikki. Just pick one and go with it. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna do my trim the edge trick, because it's just all slightly, and if you take some off that side, you got to take some off this side, otherwise it won't look right. And then of course we have to re-ink, because now I've just cut off all the inking I already did. Okay. Now, yeah, now that fits in there. Oh, it's a little tall though. That's okay. I don't mind that actually. Now we've got here and potentially here. I don't want to put another one of those because I think that's just gonna like make it too bulky. We could potentially put this here as a tuck spot. Yep, we're gonna, or do I just make it a pocket? Make it a pocket, tuck spot, pocket. Well, this will determine that. Yep, nope, tuck spot, because I don't want to have to cut down another tag. We're trying to just make decisions and go with them and not be indecisive, guys. Okay. Oh, and I like how they look nice together. Even though those are not periwinkle, they're lily of the valley, but that's, you know, neither here nor there. So that can go there. Okay. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. And I've got a little bit of a room play there because there's a spine here. So like this idea that I had, now you probably have seen other people do this. I haven't, or if I have, I just wasn't paying attention. But this was in my head the other day when I was trying to think, you know, what am I going to do to use up all my scrappy bits, leftover pieces and stuff and junk. I was like, I wonder if you could make them into little envelopes, which I just have managed to do. See that? But let's put a thumb hole because, and I wonder if that little scrap will, whoa, that flew. And we've got this little blue piece. That's gonna fit perfect. Ha! Okay, now I just have to glue super careful on the edges again. Maybe we can, we'll have to cut it down a little bit, I think, that blue thing. And then maybe put the other tab, the small tab that I have left could go. This would look cute, like on a book page too. You know, like in a journal, on the page of a journal, you could put a couple of these in there. It would probably be even better if you sewed around the edges of it, but you know, like I said, we're not doing sewing right now. So, let's see, to be skinny enough, it'll have to go this way since I glued it, not sewed it. Oh, I think it still needs to get cut down just slightly, ever so slightly. And it's just a little bit uneven on top here, so oops. Okay, so I thought better the tab isn't going to fit in there because that just fits perfectly like that. However, the tab could go on the edge of this. Yeah, let's do that. Why the heck not, guys? I don't know how well this will stay shut on its own, of its own volition, but maybe we can tuck this behind one of those little discs because I have several of those discs. Maybe this can be a tucky to go behind there. If I had thought better of it, I would have put one of the windy guys here, but I didn't. Let's see, what's going to stand out nice? This blue? Sure. So we'll just glue the bottom half of this. Make sure I don't just glue this tab shut. There, that'll at least keep it shut. You know. Okay. I could probably make two of those, huh? There's probably room enough for two of those. Let's make one more. I hope you're enjoying this, guys. I kind of am. It's nice because all the pieces, because all these scraps coordinate because they all just came from the same project. It's easy to put them all together quickly because they all match. Now I don't have a tab to put on the front of this one, so maybe I'll just have to use something else. That made a lot of sense. since I don't have a tab to put on this one, I will not maybe have to use something else. I will absolutely have to use something else. Okay. Let's like make sure for sure before I finish this up. Yeah, that's so cute. Okay, let's look in my little pile of stuff. What do I got? Flowers. Oh, I've got this little thing in my hand. We'll just put that on there. It's a little mini tag, but we're gonna put it on as a, not that side, that side has flowers. We're gonna use it as a tab. Just something to have, you know, to tuck behind the little disc. Woo! You know what I'm saying? Can you even see what I'm doing? I hope so. I'm just trying to go so fast. I kind of said like I want to finish whatever I decide doing here. I want to finish it in 1 hour. Okay, we're gonna glue another circle as like a tuck behind. Plus, guys, I have to finish it in 1 hour because I have to go make dinner. You know? Still got life to do. Okay. Ta-da! I'm not even going to mess with trying to make these pockets in other ways because they're no, if I stick out the sides and whatever. So they're just getting glued all the way on. Edge to edge. Also, if I tried shoving more stuff behind these, it would get even bulkier. And at some point, we're going to run out of room. Oh my gosh, I love these. They're so cute. Two little envelope pocket things here on the page. Tag-velopes. Oh my gosh, there we go. Okay, so, yep. Gonna leave that like that, I said. Then that flaps open and there's something in there. And the back I'll probably just leave too. Then let's, you know, I suppose I could use some of these on. Well, let's think about that. Let's think about that as we do this. I am going to put one here, but as like a pocket, because I do have a couple of those little tags left. Oh, I'm like way off camera. My rush has made me totally stop caring if I'm in frame or not. Okay, I've got this left here. Oh, I have a couple of T cards left too. That'll look cute right there. Oh my gosh, guys, it's 53 minutes. Okay, and then let's just go through and we're gonna like decorate the journal like it's a little mini journal. Oops, and use up some of these little embellishments. Because I think, because it's staggered, yeah, you should see some of them. Let's put one of these like decorational pieces kind of along the edge of one. Like there-ish. The paper's all blending together, so I can't, yeah, okay. Like I can't tell if I'm gluing on the edge of it or not. Then I have one of the quote kind of writing text pieces. So we'll layer that in here. Maybe kind of right in the middle of this one. Yeah. Then I've got this last one on top here. Let's put another, flower. Let's see, do I want it on this side? That side, I want it on that side. Okay, yeah. See, I like how that kind of just looks like layered up there. Oh, I've got this little ticket that can go in there. And, oh, this one doesn't have anything in it. So we gotta put something in there quick. Let's cut this down a little bit. Even though I didn't load up the other, like, loaded pockets, I did put something in the one envelope, so I feel like I should put something in the other envelope. Yeah, that'll go. That'll go. That'll do. Ink, ink, ink. You know, look, this is not relaxing crafting right now. Just kidding. It still is. I'm still relaxed. I'm crafting. That always feels good. Ooh, go fit. Is it really tight? It's really tight. And this is folded over. I wonder if it doesn't like it for that reason. Let me see if I can. There. Okay. I've still got a few of these pieces left. Just wonder if there's anywhere that needs just a little bit of decoration. Woo! Throwing stuff around in my haste. We're just gonna do a little decorating up here because it's kind of bland in that corner. And since we did decorating here, then we'll just, plus this will get rid of some more of these little scraps. And maybe a little part of that text. And does this need some up there? We'll fill some of the white space quick in these last few minutes here. Nope. Oh, I do have a little number. I'll put a little number there. Yeah, you guys, I like it. I like it a lot. And, you know, I don't feel bad about that. I'm going to just say I'm okay with that. Right? Yes. Yes, I'm going to be okay with it. Yep, look at, we're gonna use it all up. We're gonna use it all. I'll layer these up a little. These tag bases look so nice layered on top of each other. This, I think, you know, part of the nature of this wallpaper kit is that they're just all patterns. And so it's not, you don't feel like, you know, when you're doing collaging, you don't feel like you're covering up the main image on the piece or something. Like sometimes if there's a floral front and center, you feel like, oh, you're kind of covering that up. But not these, they're just patterns, but they all layer so nicely. Okay. I'll put that there. And then this other one that's just tucked, we could layer that one. I'm going to have nothing hardly left to put in my scraps. And I have this super cool project. So you guys, I hope that you have had fun. If you're still hanging out with me, thank you. I hope you've had fun doing this. Like, I hope that this has been something helpful. And like I said, it doesn't even need to be helpful. Just, I hope it's been something fun. I'm going to punch those holes and glue this down here. No, I'm going to put it on here. Like I said, if you comment below, like, are you a person that has leftover bits, or do you use them up most of the time? If you use a kit, do you use all the pieces? And if you don't use the pieces all up every time, and you're going, you know, yeah, I'm one of those people that doesn't, or that ends up with leftover bits, then, and if you try this, like with your next project, then tag me on Instagram or something, or send me a picture. I would love to see what you end up making, because I feel like every, oh, it's not quite long enough. I feel like every, or I mean, it's too long. The tag's not wide enough. Every project will be slightly different because it's totally based on what you have in your stash. I'm just going to glue some of these last pieces on here. Ooh, maybe instead of there, I'll decorate down here a little. Nope, too big. So it's all going to depend on what you have in your stash, or what you have in left over from your kit, I mean. So if you've got, you know, just a bunch of papers, then maybe you could make some sort of collage something. And if you had somehow a bunch of ephemera, then you could make something like this or whatever. I don't know. Just, I'm curious now. If you do something like this, shoot me a picture. Let me see what you do, because I'm curious to see. And it does feel good to know that I'm not going to go putting a bunch of stuff, you know, go load up my scrap drawer with a bunch of pieces of things that probably don't need to be there. So maybe I'll pop this in some Happy Mail. Maybe I'll pop this in some Happy Mail. Who knows? Maybe it'll come your way. I'll go on one of the rack lists and pick somebody. I usually have my daughters pick a name. I'll have them go, you know, say, go pick, just pick a random name off of the rack list, and we'll send something to that person. Okay. There. I literally have like 3 little pieces left over there. Okay, this has been super fun. out of that huge pile of stuff that I started with, oops, out of that huge pile of stuff that I started with, I have this left. So here I have some of these little tiny things here. I have this made piece, and then I have the scraps of paper here. So I'm feeling pretty good about what we've done here today. What do you guys think? Let's just one more little flip through here. Yeah. That's so fun. Okay, so out of all of that stuff that I had left, I mean, these types of things I'll keep because you can make back tags with them, or, do that. You can add these as little notebooks into other things. This I'm not so worried about, and that's why I wasn't trying to focus on getting those used up. But it's the stuff that's more like matchy-matchy with the kit that you just did, that I was like, what am I going to do with that stuff? Oh, maybe I'll put a piece there just as a contrast. I think I'll do that off camera at the end here, but yeah, so out of that huge pile of stuff that I had, that's pretty good for what I've got left. I might use that actually as I'm sitting here. I might think I'll put a windy guy through here, and let's just do it. Let's just do it while I chat. You guys don't mind. We're at an hour and 6 minutes. You guys don't mind. If you've made it this far, you're pretty dedicated to seeing this process finished. Or you're a glutton for punishment. Either way, let's just see this finished, huh? Because I keep having ideas as I go. I'm going to put this windy guy through, and then this will be a closure. So this thing will actually have a closure, which will be awesome. And it uses up like 3 more scraps. 2 more. I can count sometimes when I'm not overly tired or too crafty. And we'll put that right along the edge here. And then I'm going to use my bone folder to get underneath the windy guy to press that down. And then I believe I've got a piece of string right over here that we can use or cut some off of because it's kind of long. So, okay, there's my little pile of leftovers. And here is my completed project, which I'm pleased as punch. That worked out exactly like I was kind of thinking, is that I would end up with some sort of little notebooky thing. And, end game, I wouldn't be adding a bunch of stuff back into my scrap drawer. Whoops. Which was kind of the goal all along. And we'll cut that off. There we go. Well, fun, guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me today. Thanks for spending some time. And yep, that's going there. Got to stop myself. Until I see you guys all again next time, I hope that you have a wonderful morning, afternoon. Oops. I'm going to do it. I'm going to multitask. Morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the night. Whatever time it is, on whatever side of our fantastic globe that you live on. See, I can still see the tulips. And until then, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, stay crafting, because that's what helps me stay safe and healthy. I don't know about you, but that's what helps me. And until I see you then, guys, take care. God bless. All right. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.